One of the most important skill to have in our life, my dear friends, the name of the skill, communication skill. Would you agree with me on that? Yes, indeed. Communication skill, one of the very important skill. At the same time, one of the challenging skill as well. The kind of skill on which there is no perfection. Yes, I agree. Kuनै पनि सायद यस्तो skill नहोला जहाँनिर perfection भन्ने destination होला. But communication skill is also one of the major skills. जहाँनिर चाहिँ there is no that destination of perfection. You are always improving. If you want to improve. You always have those rooms of making yourself a better communicator. And in this video, my dear friends, I'm going to talk about one of the best way to increase the efficiency of our communication skill. I gave up this title ki how to increase our communication skill in very quick way. Yeah, yesto khalko topic hunna sathay there may be a picture in your head ki I'm talking about the kind of words that we should use, the kind of body language that we need to have, the kind of gestures we need to have. But there is something else which I really like to share with you, my dear friends. One of the quickest way to improve our communication skill, and that one of the quickest way to improve our communication skill is to be aware if what you are trying to say is actually being understood. One of the brilliant and very important point, and that is something which I really try to keep that awareness in my head when I'm communicating with anyone, be it stage बाट टन्नै जना व्यक्तिहरुसँग माससँग इन्टरेक्सन गर्ने क्रममा या बी इट वन अन वन लेभलमा कुरा गर्ने क्रममा या बी इट कुनै पनि ग्रुपलाई कोच गर्ने क्रममा या 40-50 जना 100 जनाको ग्रुपलाई ट्रेनिङ दिने बेला या बाटोमा कसैलाई पनि भेटेपछि इन्टरेक्सन हुने क्रममा this is something which I really want to keep in my head if that person is really understanding what I am trying to tell to that person. Because one of the main thing that usually happens on our life is हामी एउटा कुरा भन्दै छौं but that person is understanding something else. You are saying something else and that person is understanding something else, and there what's happening is what you're trying to say is not really being understood versus that person is understanding something which you are not really talking about. This must have happened a lot of time in your life, isn't it, my dear friends? So one of the first question is, why does it happen? Why does it happen that we're trying to say something else and there's something else which the person understands? And one of the first reason why this happens is because there is something else which the person wants to understand. तपाईले एउटा कुरा भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ but there is something else which the person wants to understand. त्यो व्यक्ति बेग्लै कुरा बुझ्न चाहन्छ त्यतिखेर. त्यो व्यक्ति तपाईको बारेमा बेग्लै कुरा बुझ्न चाहन्छ, त्यो कुराको बारेमा बेग्लै कुरा बुझ्न चाहन्छ. So since because the person wants to listen something else, what happens is the person is understanding something else. कहिलेकाहीँ हुन्छ नि तपाई बाटोमा हिँड्दै हुनुहुन्छ र all of a sudden तपाईलाई तपाईको नाम कसैले बोलायो कि जस्तो लागिरहेको हुन्छ तर कसैले पनि तपाईको नाम बोलाएको हुँदैन. You want to hear your name and therefore you hear it. You want to do something and therefore you do it भने जस्तै you want to hear that thing and therefore you hear it, you see. So one of the reasons why a lot of people they understand on their own style is because they want to understand something different, you see. That's one of the first thing. And the second reason why people understand different thing is because they are understanding those things which they have already understood. Boom, भन्नु पर्दा तपाईले एउटा नयाँ कुरा भन्नु भयो तर त्यो व्यक्तिले पहिला छुट्टै कुरा बुझेका छन् अनि यो कुरालाई पनि त्यही कुरा हो भनेर उहाँले कम्पेयर गरिकन त्यही कुरालाई बुझिरहेछन्. भन्नु पर्दा तपाईले भन्दै हुन्छ बाइक, त्यो व्यक्तिले बुझ्छन् पाङ्ग्रा भएको कुरा. Therefore the person understands कि you're talking about car because the person has understood car. Now this may be a very lame example but that is what I'm trying to say. Something else you're saying but the person is understanding something else because that something else is something which the person has already understood before. आफूले बुझिसकेको कुरा मान्छेले धेरै जसो बुझ्न चाहन्छन् instead of understanding something new. So यो केसमा what happens is, my dear friends, तपाईले एउटा कुरा भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ अर्कै कुरा बुझ्नु भनेको that is definitely the failure of the communication which you are having, isn't it? And that is not the kind of communication which you would like to have. I believe the kind of communication which you would like to have every day is you are saying something and that person is understanding what you are saying and that person is replying to that sense which the person has understood, and because of that reply now you can once again त्यो reply तपाईले perfect तरिकाले बुझ्नुहुन्छ and once again you reply. That is the kind of conversation which we would like to have. अनि त्यसको लागि one of the main thing that we gotta do is we gotta really have this high level of awareness about the things which the person is understanding. It is on you what you say, isn't it? There is a famous quotation in Facebook that I usually see in Facebook. And that quotation says, I can take responsibility about what I say, but I do not take responsibility for what you understand. I repeat, I take responsibility for what I say, I do not take responsibility for what you understand. And this quotation makes sense. What it is trying to say is, म जुन कुरा भन्छु त्यो कुराप्रति म जिम्मेवारी लिन सक्छु तर तिमी कुन कुरा बुझ्छौ त्यो कुराप्रति म जिम्मेवारी लिन सक्दैन. It makes sense, but the problem is if you want to be a good communicator in life, you gotta also take responsibility for what that person is understanding. त्यो व्यक्तिले तपाईको कुराबाट कुन चाहिँ कुरा बुझ्छ त त्यो कुराप्रति पनि तपाईले जिम्मेवारी लिनुपर्ने हुन्छ. Only then you can start to improve. नत्र के हुन्छ, नत्र तपाईले एउटा कुरा भन्नुहुन्छ नि you're like मैले यो कुरा भने अब त जे बुझे बुझ नबुझ मलाई बालै भएन. And now you say, in that way, that first, what's going to happen is त्यो व्यक्तिले बेग्लै कुरा बुझ्ने सम्भावना भयो. First thing. Second thing, तपाईले आफ्नो कम्युनिकेसनलाई इम्प्रुभ पनि गर्नु भएन because you have not taken the responsibility. So if we want to be a good communicator, my dear friends, we also got to take responsibility about the things which that person is understanding because of what you are saying. And यस्तो खालको miscommunication, or let's say यस्तो खालको कुरा कि you say something and that person understands something else, it usually happens when you are talking about those things जुन कुराहरुको बारेमा त्यो व्यक्तिलाई पहिलेदेखि थाहा छ. भन्नुको अर्थ, if you're talking about spirituality, or let's say तपाईले कुनै पनि कुरा गर्ने बेला तपाईले spirituality भन्ने शब्द निकाल्नु भयो भने अब के हुन्छ, तपाईले यहाँबाट spirituality निकाल्नु भयो केही बेग्लै कुरा सोचेर, केही बेग्लै कुरा डिस्क्राइब गर्न, तर जब spirituality भन्ने शब्द त्यो व्यक्तिको दिमागमा छिर्यो, त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about God. और त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about religion. और त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about meditation. और त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about faith, belief system, values. और त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about discipline. और त्यो व्यक्तिले के बुझ्दै भन्दाखेरि you're talking about service, you're talking about contribution, isn't it? भन्नाले spirituality भन्ने यस्तो खालको शब्द हो जुन शब्दलाई तपाई 10 जना व्यक्ति राख्नुस् and ask them what do you understand by spirituality, and all of them are going to give, or most of them are going to give different opinions about it. But यस्तो खालको शब्द हो जसको different understanding हुन सक्छ, isn't it? So कुनै पनि गफ गर्ने क्रममा तपाईले यदि spirituality शब्द निकाल्नु भयो भने what will happen, they will understand on their own style, but there is something else which you are trying to talk about. Now if you talk about love, हैन, तपाईले कुनै पनि कुरा गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, कुरा गर्दा गर्दै तपाईले लभ भनेर भन्नुभयो भने, now what may happen, the person may understand you're talking about romantic love, or the person may understand you're talking about sexual love, or the person may understand the kind of love that you have with your parents, with your friends, with animals, or the kind of love which you have with God, or the kind of love which you have with yourself. So यो यस्तो खालको शब्द जुन शब्दको अनेकौं किसिमको अर्थ हुन सक्छ, and that person may understand any one of the meaning, isn't it? So the only way to improve this miscommunication, or let's say the only way to eradicate this miscommunication, is by being aware कि तपाईले कुन चाहिँ शब्द निकाल्नु भयो, कुन तपाईले कुरा भन्नु भयो र त्यो कुरालाई त्यो व्यक्तिले कुन चाहिँ रूपमा बुझ्दै छन् त. And if that person is not understanding what you're actually trying to say, you should take a moment of time to describe that particular thing even more. Try to make it more clear. Try to make it more clear. Try to make it more clear so that that person can actually understand what you are talking about, instead of understanding what the person wants to understand or what the person has already understood. Because this is one of the major issue wherever you go, whatever it happens. And I think one of the main reason for conflict is poor communication. If we can have better communication, conflicts can really go down. Would you agree with me on this? Next time, my dear friends, when I see you, I want to see you with much better communication skill. And it is possible, you see. It is definitely possible. Because communication skill is not only about the flow of words, it is not just about your body language, it is not just about your hand movements, it is more about being able to deliver the message which you want to deliver to that person. At the end of the day, तपाईले भनेको कुरा त बुझ्नु पर्यो नि, हैन र यार. बोलेको कुरा त बुझ्नु पर्यो नि. बोलेको कुरै बुझेन भनेपछि probably that is failure in communication. Now it happens with me as well. When I speak very fast, sometimes people cannot understand what I'm trying to say. Or you say, when I use those kind of words, जसको आफ्नो मान्छेको अर्थ हुन्छ, people are not perfectly able to understand what I want them to understand. Happens with me as well. And I consistently want to work on that and improve on it as well, my dear friends. And I really want to ask you to make sure, to try your level best to make sure that the people with whom you are communicating are understanding what you're trying to say, instead of understanding what they want to understand or what they already have understood. I wish you all the very best, and next time I hope you are coming to me with much more awareness on the things that you're talking about. And it usually happens जतिखेर तपाईं बिन्दास तरिकाले ओरिजिनल भएर मस्तले गफ गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ हैन, तपाई के भन्दै हुन्छ पनि थाहा छैन, उले के बुझ्दैछ पनि तपाईलाई थाहा छैन हैन, and you may have a lot of joy, happiness, contentment at that moment of time. तर communication भाडमा जाने बेला हुन सक्छ है त्यतिखेर हुन्छ नि. What you're trying to say probably is not being understood at that moment of time. So be careful about what you're saying, and be careful about what that person is actually understanding out of the things which you're saying. All the very best. I want to see you again with much better communication skill in your own self. All the very best. See you again.